At this point in time, I'd like to introduce a new member of the board. Matt Rodriguez is online with us. Matt, say hello and tell people what you're all about.
Not a good first showing. Good morning. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today. Had a prior out of town commitment, but looking forward to meeting you all in person in June. I'm Matt Rodriguez. I was brought onto regional council about 2 months ago, and here at the Region of Waterloo. And really looking forward to joining and getting up to speed. I want to thank the chair for taking some time the other week to sit down and get up to speed, as well as staff. So really appreciate that, and looking forward to, as I said, meeting all of you in June. And I think that's all I got to say.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you having you here. It's look forward to working with you. So the agenda. I need a mover and a seconder for approval of the agenda. Moved by Doug, seconded by Sue. Any questions or discussions? I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move on. Minutes of the previous meetings. I need a mover and a seconder who were present at the last meeting. Gord is moving it. Brian is seconding it. Any discussion? Any revisions? I'll call the question. All in favor? It's carried. No business arising from the previous minutes. No delegations. We're now into presentations, and thank you to all of you who attended the second strat session. And we're now going to have a presentation by the consultant, and then we'll make a decision on the strat plan. And I understand, are they okay? Are they online? Okay. So Sabine Matheson and Daniel Blazkowicz, when you're ready, you're on. Thanks.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. It's Sabine Matheson here. I'm here with my colleague Daniel. We'll just take you through a quick presentation. It would only be really appropriate to begin by thanking members of the board and your staff team for the significant amount of work that you've put into this process. It's been a lengthy process, but an extremely pleasant one to work on. Daniel, if you jump to slide 2, we're not going to read these slides at you because we understand the value of your time. There's some background around the importance of strategic planning and our approach to it generally, and to the consultation that we've done, which is on slide 4. And, we've managed to go through processes of interviews and deep work with the staff, and sessions with yourselves on the board, and outreach and letters to the Six Nations and the Mississaugas of the Credit. And so lots and lots of input. And that leads us to the first sort of substantive matters that I wanted to really address. The first is you gave us very clear direction as to the structure of the plan that you wanted to see. So we heard loud and clear, and I believe that this draft fully reflects full compliance with the new legislative framework, and it reflects a strong focus on the key priority areas of flood control and water management and watershed health. But it also introduces a new pillar that relates to organizational sustainability, which is, of course, a priority across the broader public sector and is very important for the health of your organization. You told us to maintain its concise and accessible style. You did not want a wordy document, and yet you wanted it backed up by real content. You've heard me make the joke. You didn't want a Hallmark greeting card strategic plan, best wishes for watershed management. You wanted it to be fully related to the to clear work and action plans. And so this is why in the version that's going to be the public-facing version of the document, it's going to remain this real concise tone with a focus on the verbs that commit the organization to doing things, but at a second level of detail that's going to be in the operating plans for the organization that will ultimately have strong linkages back to your operating plans and budget documents and performance measurement. You'll have things that the board can actually use to track and ensure that there's a focus on actual progress and implementation, which we heard was one of the main goals of the organization, to have a plan that you would use and that would actually be a guiding document, not just something that would be done because it had to be done, but then live predominantly on the shelf. If you jump to slide 6, you'll see that there's a summary of the key policy directions that are reflected in the refreshed plan. The continued focus in flood management, responding to concerns about aging infrastructure and rising maintenance costs by committing to stronger asset management, a focus on continuous improvement and service delivery so that the users of the service have the experience that you would want, focusing on building internal capacity and understanding the impact that staff turnover has had on the sustainability of the organization, and concerns about making up for potential institutional loss of memory by ensuring that we have this focus on capacity internally, and then responding to calls from Indigenous partners for deeper and ongoing engagement. So that's the broad strategic direction that we had that goes with the instructions about form. And that's what leads us to this new, very concise plan that fits on 2 pages. The first, the vision, a healthy watershed that connects, strengthens, and sustains resilient communities. Particular thank you to the members of the board, because that's often a difficult exercise in wordsmithing, but it's important how much those words in their selection actually it really does make a difference. And you see in that vision the focus on what you do, but also in who you serve. The mission, as is customary with such things, is a more active statement. And it actually has that strong statement of we work with watershed communities. That's who you serve, and every day to reduce flood risks, maintain and support a healthy watershed, and connect people with nature, which gets at the breadth of your activities. The next slide sets out the strategic plan framework. And again, you see this in its working format. The final version of this will be desktoped in an appropriate manner, but this remains consistent with the working document format that we've had. But I assure you, the final version that your team has in mind is going to look more suitable for public presentation. But what you see is the 3 pillars and the foundation layer. This represents a significant consolidation from the previous structure. First pillar, protecting life and minimizing property damage from flooding and erosion. You created these points, so I don't propose to read them at you. I would simply point out that the verbs are really important in each of these things. The sophistication between what you're going to maintain, what you're going to implement, what you're going to strengthen or grow. Each one of these reflects a directionality. In the spirit of smart growth, smart goals, the idea is to have things where you can see the nature of the commitment, that's precise enough that you know what's being talked about. And of course, the idea that everything that's made it this far is something that's relevant to your organization, that's and important. And then it's in that deeper layer that is going to be in the internal documents that staff will use to guide their work and report on, where we get into the measurability aspect of it and the measurability over what period of time. and of course their commitment to what specifically is doable. So you see between protecting life and minimizing property damage from flooding and erosion, improving the health of the Grand River watershed, and connecting people with environment through outdoor experiences. You've got those three main areas of activity. And then building the future-oriented organization is what's necessary to support each one of these three activities. In the old days, we might have called that the corporate strategic plan versus the other, like the thing that we need to organize the affairs of the corporation. Versus the things that the corporation will do in terms of the people who it serves. In that foundation layer, you see we've got a focus on people, which is, of course, the number one asset of every organization. The financial resources and the stewardship of those resources through sustainable and efficient operations. The capital assets through a comprehensive asset management plan for all critical assets. The customer service side through digital solutions to improve service delivery, the environmental impact side to ensure that our own operations are focused on living up to that standard, and then in also the management of GRCA lands. So the next steps, in addition to making this document prettier, if you will, for public consumption, it's really, and yeah, it's fine. You can jump ahead to the next slide. Is really all about making sure that the work that's set out in this plan is brought to life through your operating and management plans, and ultimately reflected in the budget. And the metaphor that we often use is, if this is the roadmap, the budget is the gas pedal, because any of these things that require more might require more. And so you get ultimate control through the budget process as to the pace of your own of implementation. But what there has to be is that feedback loop of performance measurement. And one of the key activities under the plan is the development and investment in growing your capacity to do performance measurement, because that's a clear direction from the board. And it's clearly something that doesn't happen overnight. Takes time to develop performance measurement capacity, and that's one of the key activities. So I think I can leave it there. Daniel and I are happy to take any questions that you might have. But the purpose of this document is to be a faithful reflection of what we heard through you and through your staff team throughout the process. And we think that's just what it is.
Thanks very much. So at this point in time, are there any questions from the board to the consultant with respect to the strat plan? Seeing none, thank you, gentlemen, and for the work that you've done, and we'll keep you apprised of where we go with this. All right. So thank you for your time. Are there any final questions of staff with respect to the strat plan? Okay, seeing none, then I need a mover and a seconder. It's moved by Pam, seconded by Sandy. All in favor? It's carried. Thanks, everybody. The next presentation is the GRCA Dam Safety Management Program. Caitlin Lynch is going to make that presentation. This is part of the board education process with respect to the various parts of the organization and what they do. So Caitlin, over to you.
Great. Thank you, and through you, Chair. Oh, I have to share that first. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today about our dam safety management program. Over the next few minutes, I'll give you a brief overview of how we manage dam safety at GRCA, why it matters, and how we're aligning with national and provincial guidelines and standards. And I'll also highlight the importance of the continued investment, not just in our infrastructure, but also in the people who work to keep it safe. So dam safety is ensuring that dams are well maintained and regularly inspected, and that the public and environment are protected from the effects of dam failure. Dams are vital pieces of our watershed infrastructure. The multipurpose dams help manage water during floods, supply water in dry periods, and create recreational spaces that enhance local quality of life. But they also come with real responsibilities of public safety, environmental protection, and infrastructure reliability. And that's why we take dam safety seriously. It protects lives and it supports everything that we do at GRCA. GRCA owns and operates 28 dams across the watershed. We have what we call the 7 large multi-purpose dams, which provide flood management and water supply in the river during periods of low flow, and they're important water supply for downstream communities. We also have auxiliary benefits of hydroproduction and recreation at these large dams. And then we have 21 smaller dams, which are generally old mill ponds or run-of-the-river structures, and they are often important local community features. Just to call out here which sites I'm referring to by our major dams and multipurpose reservoirs. We have Sham Dam as the oldest, being built in 1942. Conestoga, Guelph being our youngest dam at almost 50 years old now. Woolwich, Shades Mills, Laurel, and Luther. And I'm not going to call out our small dams, but I did want to include them. And again, they're what you see as those run-of-the-river dams or old mill ponds throughout the watershed that GRCA is responsible for. We do have 21 small dams. We strive to have our dam safety management program align with the highest standards, nationally through the Canadian Dam Association guidelines, and provincially through the Ministry of Natural Resources, Lakes and Rivers Improvements Acts, as well as international committees such as the International Commission on Large Dams that supply best practices for dam safety management. In 2021, GRCA undertook an evaluation of our dam safety management program that benchmarked us against industry standards, using an evaluation matrix, ranking our practices across the entire GRCA dam portfolio. This evaluated our program and did identify some areas and priorities for implementation over the next 5 years. The Dam Safety Guidelines and Standards from Canadian Dam Association, Lakes and Rivers Improvement Act, and other organizations lay out the components required for a dam safety management program. So these are the pillars of a good program, and they are reflected in how we operate at the GRCA. GRCA has an effective dam management program that includes surveillance, operation, and maintenance of the dam. The foundation of our program includes routine inspections, proactive maintenance, detailed risk and failure modes analyses, public safety around dams, and a focus on staff training and readiness. Each of these is essential for safe and reliable operations. And the success of this program relies on our staff, their knowledge, and continued training and education. The strengths of our programs include the fact that we have dam operators on site inspecting our large dams daily, and operations are made in person so that they're there to observe the equipment and notice if anything is operating out of normal. Our extensive flood forecasting and warning also supports our reservoir operations and dam safety. So as I mentioned, we inspect all dams regularly and maintain them year-round and complete in-depth condition assessments on major dams, which was done over the past 2 years at our major dams as part of the asset management plan. We're now starting to complete updates to the formal dam safety reviews, which are more rigorous multidisciplinary assessments of our dam structures and how we operate and maintain them. In 2024, we also completed public safety risk assessments at all the dams, including the small dams. These were on-site assessments, and we collaborated with our local fire chiefs and municipal emergency coordinators, as well as GRCA staff that are involved in the inspection and maintenance to complete the public safety risk assessments and make recommendations to address any risks. Another important part of our program is our emergency preparedness. GRCA follows the provincial dam safety guidelines, which classify our dams based on risk and the requirements for having emergency preparedness plans. Our high hazard dams include Shan, Conestoga, Guelph, and Woolwich. We're currently undertaking a hazard classification study for Shades Mills Dam here, which will be finished this year. The intent of the emergency preparedness plan is to ensure that all emergency service providers required during a dam emergency are aware of their roles and responsibilities, and they also outline GRCA staff roles and responsibilities. We update these plans annually and are prepared to exercise them with our municipal partners as able. And these plans are a contingency. We do not anticipate failure of the structures. And another critical component of the dam safety management is our Public Safety Around Dams program. We follow the Canadian Dam Association guidelines for public safety around dams, and it includes comprehensive site-specific risk assessments, site plans with public safety devices, which include our signage, booms, buoys, and fencing, which are approved by Transport Canada. We complete daily or weekly inspections at all our sites. We have an internal incident reporting system as well as an internal ticket system for any missing or damaged signs. We also complete annual staff training on public safety around dams. So many of our dams are aging, climate extremes are increasing, and this means that inspections and repairs are essential to maintain our dam safety. Having skilled staff to monitor and operate the systems every day and training and retaining staff is important to the success of the program. We're working to be aligned with provincial and national expectations, but dam safety is ongoing work and needs constant monitoring, improvement, and work. So thank you for your support, for reinvestment in the infrastructure, and for the people who make the program successful.
Thanks, Caitlin. Any questions or comments for Caitlin with respect to the presentation? Yes, David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one question about inspection. And through you to Caitlin. Caitlin, you said the inspection program is done by GRCA engineering staff. Do we contract out any of the inspection services?
Through you, Chair. So annual inspections are done by engineering staff, daily inspections of the large dams by the operators. We do contract out engineering consultants and site-specific or specific experts if our inspections determine that there's a deficiency or item to be addressed. Those conditions assessments that we did over the course of 2024 were done by an engineering consultant. And our dam safety reviews will also be done by external engineering consultants. So when there's anything outside of normal, we would call in engineering consultants to confirm.
Okay, thank you.
I have Rob and Sandy as well. Okay, so Rob, go ahead.
Through the chair. Thanks, John. Caitlin, nice presentation. So I'm in the Dunnville area, and I know that Dunnville Dam is one of 21 small dams. What purpose does that dam in the Dunnville area serve?
Yes, through you, Chair. There are a few, so I'll start the answer with how we're going to take a look at Dunnville Dam. So we do have identified that we will be doing an assessment of our small dams, which will include what the either benefits or negatives of the dam may have to watershed health. There could be benefits to ecological impacts or to flood management through any kind of ice management that the dam may provide by either breaking up ice or holding it back. So I don't have a specific answer on either the benefits or any negatives related to it, but we will be bringing that through a study over the next few years.
Okay, well, I'm hoping it's less than a few years. The reason is, Caitlin, for boaters who like to come in, because we have access to Lake Erie, and the boaters, smaller boaters that may want to travel up towards Cayuga are limited because of the dam. So what my question, if it doesn't really serve a real purpose, it would give the smaller boaters a lot more luxury to use the Grand River basically from the lake right up to Cayuga. So yeah, that's my reason for my question.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Sandy.
Thank you for the presentation. Dam safety is so important. I've just got maybe a higher level question, and that is, do we get support from higher levels of government, financial or otherwise, specifically for dam safety? That would seem to be one of our major areas that even the province expects us to focus on.
Yes, through you, Chair. One of the larger funding sources that the Ministry of Natural Resources administers is the Water and Erosion Control Infrastructure Fund. It's for all conservation authorities in Ontario, and they currently have $5 million allocated per year. So we apply, and there's a scoring system based on both the structure's hazard and the urgency or importance of the project. So there is funding through that application process. And maybe Kaylee's the better one to answer, but we do receive a small amount of Section 39 funding from MNR as well for this program.
Anything further, Sandy? Okay, Doug?
A question on the Riverside Park Dam that's in the river. Who owns it in terms of the fact that it's deteriorating and falling apart? Can you sort of explain that whole situation there?
GRCA does not own the Riverside Dam, so I would have to defer that to. I wouldn't have an answer for that because it's not our dam.
It's not our dam, but it's in our river.
Yes, so GRCA doesn't have a responsibility for the river. We don't regulate the riverbed. Dams in the river are regulated by Ministry of Natural Resources through the Lakes and River Improvement Act, as well as Transport Canada.
So if in fact it starts to fall apart and cause issues, is that where we go to the ministry?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions of staff? Seeing none, Caitlin, thank you for the excellent presentation. We'll move on. Correspondence. So there's 3 items of correspondence. I need a mover and a seconder to receive them. Moved by Chris, seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Sorry, David. Go ahead.
Just one question, and that's on the giant hogweed from John Kemp. And he's presented at different municipalities. He's come to ours a couple times now. But I just wanted to ask, through you, Mr. Chair, to any of the staff on GRCA here, are given the numbers that John's reporting as far as the increase goes, which is quite significant, does the GRCA, are we seeing more and more hogweed, or is it about the same?
Through you, Chair. That's a good question. I know in terms of our response, we deal with hogweed that's identified on our property, but I'd have to probably go back to staff to find out if it's more prevalent or not. I know we're doing a couple test pilots. I think one is at Brant Park, and the other one escapes me where it is, but in that general area where we've hired a contractor to come in and to deal with it in a more concise manner. Then some of our staff are certified to remove it, but given the size of our watershed and the amount of land we own, it can be challenging to stay on top of it. So we've hired a contractor to see how that goes and whether that can help us get ahead of some of it on our properties. But I'd have to come back to let you know if we're on top of it or if it's similar to what John's noting.
Okay, yeah, I'll appreciate if you could dig up that information, because yeah, we at Brant, we're trying to determine the amount of resources we got to devote to it, and if it's increasing like he says it is, I don't think we're devoting enough, but numbers are numbers, and depends what you start measuring them from. You can get big numbers, or so. Yeah, an answer would be good on that.
Okay, so we'll get back to you between meetings. Thanks for the question, David. The next matter is reports. So my monthly report, just three things quickly. I attended Carrie's celebration of life on your behalves. Great. It was a great day and small world. I didn't know that Jim was in the funeral business, and met him there, and he and his team did a wonderful job. And when the region plans to make the appointment, please let us know. The second thing, you're aware obviously of the barbecue, and so far attendance is very good. One of the key things has become getting these historic photographs taken. So plan to attend if you possibly can, especially if you've been a member of the board for the last 2 terms. And then the final thing was Sam and I met with the Minister of Conservation, Todd McCarthy. It was a good meeting, and we'll see what comes of it. And I know everybody around this table has good experience working with various ministers of various governments, and sometimes the requests are met quickly, and sometimes it takes a little longer. So we'll see where this goes. But it was, as I said, a very good meeting. So I need a mover and a seconder for my report. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Pam. All in favor? It's carried. The next report is cash and investment status. Need a mover and a seconder for this. Moved by Sue. Seconded by Chris. Any questions of staff? Yes, David?
Just, has there been any changes, or do you see any changes now that we got a new provincial government as far as what we're allowed to invest in?
Through the chair? No.
Okay. Well, okay. Municipalities were like this for the longest time, but there's been some changes recently where we're allowed to get into equities and things like that. So,
Yeah.
but as far as you know, nothing's changed. Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Good question. And certainly, yes, the equity decision, I think, is probably 18 months to 24 months old, and I don't know that that has changed either. There are some changes contemplated with the act, but I don't think it involves investment. We've got the mover and a seconder, so we'll call the question. All in favor? It's carried. Financial summary. Need a mover and a seconder for this. Moved by Jerry, seconded by David. Any questions of staff with respect to our current status financially? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. Current watershed conditions. There's no presentation, but if you've got questions, staff are here. I need a mover and a seconder to receive this. Moved by Doug, seconded by Brian. Any questions of staff on watershed conditions? All in favor? It's carried. Surprised nobody asked what they could do about rain. But anyway, no requirement for committee of the whole, general business none, other business none. We now move into close. So I need a mover and a seconder to get us into close. Sue is moving, Sandy is seconding. All in favor? We're moving into closed session. Thank you.
You gotta look on screen, John, for some motions to be
I will,
moved.
Rob, I apologize for that. Sometimes you're hidden, but you weren't hidden that time, so I should have caught you. Okay, so I need I've got a mover and a seconder, I believe, for the first motion, which passed inadvertently. Okay, so we'll ask again. So a mover and a seconder then for the minutes of the previous in-camera session, moved by Sue. Second by Rob, is that okay? Any questions of the minutes? All in favor? It's carried. So then the second matter is scientific, technical, commercial, financial information belong to the municipality or local board. Need a mover and a seconder for that as well. Moved by Sean, seconded by Guy. Any questions? All in favor? It's carried. That's it for that. So the next meeting is obviously June 27th, regular board meeting, and then the barbecue, photography and all that. So we've had a very good response from former board members, good response so far from the board. And look forward to seeing everybody. If it happens to be a day like today, we'll figure it out. We'll probably do it inside. But we will get together and get those photographs done and out of the way. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you. I need a motion, sorry, yes. David, are you going to move the motion to adjourn? And Sue, thank you. All in favor? We're adjourned.